Good morning, guys. It is May 1st as I'm filming this, and today is actually a pretty big day on the ranch. I am heading out here right now to pick up bulls, and then we're gonna go drop them off at the ranch with the cows. That's what's going on today on Farmer Tyler Ranch. As I said in the opening of the video, it's May 1st and we're going to get bulls. That is actually a month earlier than what would be normal for my herd. I don't own these bulls, guys. I borrow them from a good friend of mine, and the way things worked out this year, he needed to get them out of his place a little bit earlier. Rather than trying to house them at the ranch and keep them separate from the cows, which I really doubt I could even do because they would probably just jump the fence or break through the fence. I think I'm just gonna put them out with the cows. When I get over to this guy's ranch, I'm not gonna do any filming over there because I just wanna respect people's privacy. So when we pick this back up, I'll have bulls in the trailer and we'll be heading back over to the home ranch. All right, well, there was a little bit of a change of plans today. We only got one bull. I think the other one that I'm gonna go pick up tomorrow. So, because he is over in a different pasture, this guy was ready to go today. So it's not a big deal, except that when you put two bulls together that haven't been running together, we're probably gonna be in for a bit of a fight tomorrow when we do that. So that's not always, well, really not ever a good thing, because they have a tendency to hurt each other, or at the very least fences. But we're just gonna have to do it and hope that it works out okay. I always have to laugh at that every year when I pull in here with the trailer around this time of the year. The cows know that there's a bull in there, and you can see how excited they get running around and everything. So yeah, let's let this guy out and let everybody get acquainted. Well, it seems that he is pretty popular, and there's a couple of cows out here that he's really taken a shine to. So looks like all the wheels are turning out here. I think I'm gonna get the trailer and the truck out of the field and just sort of let these cows do their thing. It's a few days later now, and I've got the other bull back here in the trailer. So we're on our way to the ranch right now, and all I really got to do is stop there and turn him loose. It sounds simple. So here's the thing. Typically when I bring bulls home, they have been running together for a while and they're used to each other. So when I get the question, the people ask me a lot is, don't the two bulls fight with each other? Usually the answer is no, because they're already used to each other. They've already established that pecking order. This year things are different, because not only have these bulls not been together for the last few days, they haven't been together for the last few months. So I'm quite sure that there is going to be a little discussion between the two of them over who's the boss. Now, in some ways, this is really, I mean, not a big deal. Bulls have been fighting each other since there have been bulls, but it's always a little bit of a concern. You don't want one bull to hurt the other one, or, you know, I mean, to a lesser degree, you don't want them to be so focused on fighting and competing with each other that they forget, you know, what they're really here to do. I kind of doubt that's gonna happen, but we'll just kind of have to wait and see how they react to each other. All right, here goes nothing.
You'll notice quite a difference between when I turn this bull out compared to when I turn the first one out. There's no cows running up to greet him at the trailer, but fortunately he didn't seem to take it too personally. He just marched himself right out there to find them. I don't know if this was a coincidence or if this happened on purpose, but the first animal that the new bull encountered was the first bull that I dropped off a couple days ago. As I watched these two with the drone, I thought we were in for World War III as I watched the bull at the bottom of the screen square off to the new bull. He's telling him that he's ready for a fight, but fortunately, nothing happened quite yet. They rub heads a little bit, but really it didn't amount to much more than that. It was about this time that both bulls seemed to decide that going and checking out the other cows was a far better use of their time than fighting with each other, so that's what they did. As everybody migrated up into the corral, the attitudes started to change. the bulls started to look a little bit more serious with one another, I thought that we were going to really be in for a show. But strangely, this fight just never really escalated, and it almost seemed like neither bull was really giving it his full effort. Kind of like they were obligated to do this, but neither one of them really seemed to want to. As far as bullfights go, this is one of the tamest ones I think I've ever seen. And I'm not complaining because it's actually a good thing for me. I never had to worry about whether or not the bulls were going to hurt each other or take out a fence. And just as it looked like they were really going to start going at it, they both just kind of stopped, looked at me almost as if to say, "All right, is that going to work for your video?" And then they were done.
I think I got really lucky because I feel like the reason that didn't ever escalate any more than it did is because the bigger of the two bulls, which was the first one that we brought, he was just not interested in that fight at all. In fact, I got the feeling that the new bull was just kind of annoying him, and he's just kind of like, do we really have to do this? So it never really went anywhere, and like I say, that's a good thing. I guess a hardcore bullfight would make a good video, but in the grand scheme of things, it's really not a good thing for me to have happen. So now that these two bulls have kind of gotten acquainted and they're settling down out here with the cows, let's talk a little bit about what we got. This year, I went with 2 registered Black Angus bulls, and if you followed the channel for a while, you might sort of remember me in the past talking about how I don't like purebred animals. So if you're thinking of that, you might be wondering why I chose purebred bulls. The biggest advantage to purebred animals is their genetic traits are very well known and very predictable. So when I bring these bulls in, I have a pretty good idea of how big their calves are going to be when they're born and how big they're going to be when they're weaned. The disadvantage is that purebred animals are a little bit less hardy than crossbred animals. So you can start to see why it's to my advantage to have crossbred cows that are going to be here on the ranch for 10 or more years. And I breed them to the purebred bulls that will only be around for 2 years, because any longer than that and we would start to have some inbreeding. Basically what I'm doing here is I'm bringing in animals with known genetic traits in hopes that I can sort of steer my herd in the direction that I want to take it, because their genetics are not only seen in next year's calf crop, their genetics will be with me for years to come in the replacement females that they produce that I end up keeping here on the ranch. Now, if bringing in 2 bulls at once and really increasing the odds of the fight that never happened is such a concern, you might be wondering why I decided that I needed 2 bulls in the first place. 1 bull can manage a certain number of cows, and the reason that I'm not giving you an actual number is because that number is going to change based on conditions. If you're out in the high desert and you're running cattle over thousands and thousands of acres, a bull's service rate is going to go down because he's not going to encounter cows that often. Out here on a small irrigated pasture, his service rate is going to be about as high as it can get. And honestly, 1 bull could probably cover my entire herd. So there again, why do I get 2? Well, it's basically an insurance policy. If 1 bull happens to go down or he's having problems and he's not doing his job, then I've got a second bull out there that's going to detect those cows when they're going into heat and get on them. The other big advantage here is that if I've got multiple cows coming into heat on the same day, these guys ideally will divide and conquer rather than fight over each one. And in the end, what that ends up doing is it really tightens up my calving season, where I can get, you know, 2, even 3 calves on the same day, rather than stretching that calving season out over multiple months. Somebody found the Redmond block. These 2 bulls will stay out with the cow herd for probably around 4 months, and the reason for that is so that we maintain a defined calving window. The reason that we want to do this is, well, there's actually a few reasons. Number one, I want my cows to be born at a certain time of year when the weather is starting to get a little bit more favorable, the mud's not too bad, and I want them to have the maximum amount of time to grow and be with mom until it's time to wean them at the end of the year. The other big benefit for having a defined calving season is that when it does come time to take calves to the auction, they're all relatively the same size, so they make better lots, and that's more attractive to buyers, so you will get some more money that way. Not to mention the fact that it makes management so much easier when all your calves are being born at the same time. Yeah, those few months are pretty busy, but for the rest of the year, you're set up a lot better because they're all ready to be processed at the same time, they're all ready to be weaned at the same time, and they're all ready to be sold at the same time. For now, my work here is done, and their work's just beginning, but they don't seem to mind it too much. So I guess we'll just head out of here and let them do their thing. Thanks for hanging out at the ranch with me today, guys, and I hope I'll see you again on Farmer Tyler Ranch.